Listen to me lighten up. I just walked in with a pint of rum. Put it on the table so I might conduct an investigation. See this why you lied to us. So misunderstood. Yeah, yesterday yo you was feeling good. Yeah, talking like you wish a sucker would. Yeah, well I did. So it's time to get right into it. I admit I'm a genius in my own path. No snakes, I got no grass. No grapes, I feel no wrath. I just navigate my issues with a notepad. And let karma do the rest, my due diligence is to bring it to the table just to fill you in. But I've been thinking that it's only right to let you know you mess with us and it will get militant. And I'm like, you could be my best friend or you could be my enemy. Remember me, bridges burn, you live and learn, and forgive and never forget. You could be my best friend or you could be my enemy. Remember me, bridges burn, you live and learn, and forgive and never forget.
Do I look cool?
You look really cool.
Okay. It's like just a little bit less than 40, so I'm gonna tighten the chains up and then we can lower it down and it'll be on 40 and be totally solid. Isn't this nice?
Yeah, super nice. Yeah, that's Jackie, the legend.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it just sort of came together that we were gonna try to make a board. And Ian, like, you know, he's been making holds for a long time. He's really good at it. He can make kind of anything. So partially it was a little difficult to go from like he could make anything into like helping him kind of narrow down like what we need for this board, which has been us building. We built an 8-foot wide one, and it was like our favorite thing in the world for like a month. And then we were like, we need a bigger one. So we built this bigger one, and it's been awesome. Like we use both of them. Yeah, when Ian gets really, again, like he has this overriding vision, and like I've learned to trust him, even though he's very intense about it. He's very driven. He like knows what should happen. He gets frustrated. Stuff's not moving fast enough. He overworks himself. Like he works so hard, and it's just how he is when he's trying to finish something, and he wants it to be right. He's not comfortable with something until he feels like it's right. And so, even though like even Griffin and I, who like want things to be as good as we can make them, are like, yeah, this is pretty good. He's like, it's not perfect, and I want to do this to it still. So we'll set stuff, and then we'll come back and he'll have taken like half the holds off the wall and put other holds on, because he like made some new holds that are like more what he's thinking. And you can't really do anything about it besides be like, I'm glad that he has so much like faith in his vision, and over again so far it's proved to be correct. I think it's also like hard for Ian because he does see things differently, and like again his visions prove correct. We make them happen. People say, oh, it's not really gonna work, but make it happen. It's awesome. Over and over again. So I think it must be hard for him to like go through this period every single time of like a bunch of people being like, what are you talking about, or that's not gonna work, or you know, just not quite getting it and being like, oh cool man, like whatever, you know, and then being like, because we make these things happen. He like drives us forward. So to summarize, when Ian gets like that, everybody's got to be all hands on deck. You got to like be helping or not be here, basically. And I think it's all really exciting, so I don't really mind being here a lot. It's like, you know, we have all this vision for the future, and we're like working for that, and it's cool. I like doing it. I don't climb enough now, though. I gotta stop saying that and just start climbing more instead.
Yeah.
You're not alone. What's up?
Some of us have work to do,
Yeah.
right, Eric?
Yep.
A lot of work to do.
Very true.
I mean, I'm kind of a textbook screwball artist, I guess. I was kind of born and raised to be an artist and had a fine art career. And like, I could never run Kilter. Kilter would not exist if it was just me. I'll totally yell at customers like, "You're an idiot! Don't ever call me again." I'm terrible. It's not great. I can also be great with customers, absolutely. But I'm super moody, man. And so, especially, yeah, I just want to be back here, focused on these designs. So yeah, Jackie and Griff, I mean, without them, there's no Kilter, you know. So much of climbing is learning how to make, where to put your ankle and where to put your knee and then where to put your hip, and how to have that whole translate all the way down to get this roll just right so that you can reach up. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in hard climbing that's also really technical, because that's kind of the thrill. That's what makes us all addicted to climbing, is when we're learning this stuff, learning what our bodies can do, and then like, oh man, after a couple tries, like, oh, that totally works. It's the same thing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I know a tiny bit about, but a couple times that I rolled around in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's the same thing. You learn these crazy moves. You're like, oh my God, that's incredible. That lock totally works, or this is how I get out of it. That's what's so addicting about the movement of our sports, of these complicated sports. So I'm trying to build a tool that has all those layers of creativity. Again, years of layers of creativity into the holds and the problems that are there. So I'm hopefully building a tool where there's plenty of jumping style. There's plenty of positive holds and positive feet. You can grab whatever you want and jump as far as you want. But I also want to build much more complicated boulder problems all in between there. Yeah, so I've seen a couple of those comments online where people have worried about the holds being too big. There's been a couple of hard sessions here where people are doing like 8B boulder problems and a few of them and not grabbing onto very many small holds, especially when the board is 50 or 60 degrees. The holds don't have to be vicious. Also, when we added the footholds was the final thing that made the board really come alive. So that's the big deal, is there's a lot of footholds that are not very good. And when you have footholds that are not very good in awkward positions, and any course setter, any route setter will understand, you can make something pretty hard that way. And the holds, again, they don't have to be that small. So, like I said, there's already lots of 8Bs on that board. And I'll probably make that board a little harder, so I'm not too worried. What's really important to me is that it's a very mellow texture. Our holds are not as smooth as wood, but they're sort of as close to wood as I can get them and still have them have a kind of a typical plastic feeling. So that texture is really, really important. I mean, if you want to be able to have the most fun on this thing, you don't want to quit because your skin's fried, So I'm very particular about that. There's been a few sets where it come back just a little bit rough. The foam was just a little rougher than I thought, and those are fired. So I'm being very careful about that texture. So it should last long and start pretty smooth. Plastic does polish, so we're doing our best to make sure that it takes the longest to polish. But, it could be that, let's put it this way, it'll probably be more like training on wood after about 3 years. It'll feel closer and closer to wood, which may not be a bad thing. There's no way I want to build something where, it's really pretty fun, but there's this one thing that bugs you, like, it's pretty cool, but I wish the holds were brighter. I don't want that, man. So we made them as bright as we could, and that's double the lights. So, and then we added footholds with more lights. So we have more than twice the lights. So the lights are more expensive. You have to pour the holds twice to get the clear base. So those are way more expensive. But at Kilter, basically, this is our philosophy. This has always been our philosophy. We just make what we think we want to climb on. We make what we think is the coolest stuff. And sometimes those are expensive, but we just do what we think is the best design, and we put whatever price we have to put on it. Depends on your night. If you're feeling strong, you can add 5 or 10 degrees to the board, and then, we've, like I said, we've been climbing this for a few months, so we've had plenty of good nights and bad nights and all different people. So some nights Jackie and I were like, we just beat up, man. We can't climb it at 50 degrees. We got to pop it back to 40 degrees, and then we can have a great session. And what we'll find, I'll find that, we can do, you can find just the right zone. So if it's a little too steep, we can only do 2 moves on all these problems that we've set up. And that's about it. And we'll knock it back 5 degrees, and we could do 4 moves, knock it back 5 more degrees, and we can just get to the end of all of them. But then we can do 10 boulder problems in a row. And some nights you just want a project just to hold 1 or 2 moves, so we'll kick it back steeper. It's hard to describe. People will get it. And when you climb on it, everybody will get it. But right now it's kind of hard to describe how powerful that tool is.
But it's about, I think it's on 50 plus degrees right now. So we'll see if I can make it happen on like an easy grade. Or this grade, or like this angle. We'll see. How do you feel, Nicken? Do you feel you can do it?
Yeah, I feel good. So good.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, pretty shouldery. But it's like you have to have like this dynamic flow. It's like,
Come on.
Come on,
Come
dude.
on, Eric.
Come on, Eric.
Get it, dude.
Come on, get the jug. Come on.
oh my god.
Good effort, dude.
Nice. Nice, dude. So good.
Hey, dude.
Hello.
Nice, man.
Oh,
Super fucking good.
Thank you. That felt fantastic.
I mean, it's quite obvious that it's absolutely at my limit, a bit too high. So we're gonna get it up to like 40 degrees. I think it's, yeah, it's at like 50 plus right now. Let's try it there. See, get it done. See if I can join Nicken in the sending this proj. It's not a proj, she did it, but you know.
Come on, Eric.
Come on.
I'm not letting go. No! Oh, I got stuck with the foot. You see the holes perfect all the time, and your brain is like, okay, you need to get to that point, and it just keeps going. So you get this instant flow when you climb on a board, and I think I never experienced that on another board before. So the Kilter board should exist in every gym. Like every climber should experience like the future of boards. And I think it's crazy that Ian and Jackie and Griffin has tried to, or not even tried, they've created this board that is so far ahead of everyone else, and they put 10 months into it. It's super inspiring to like see someone that is like so creative and hardworking, and I'm sure Ian does it for his own happiness, but at the same time he is providing us something that hasn't existed before, and I'm super grateful for that because it's a badass product. I'm kind of like, we're leaving tomorrow, so we won't have this. I won't see this in another year maybe. So I don't know how to deal with that just yet. Yeah, that's the end of the video. I really hope you liked it. We loved it. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow or on next day.
Dude, so we've been hanging out at Kilter now for around 8 hours, I think. And I can confidently say like there's not many other places I would rather hang out more. But we're actually seeing the master at work himself right now. Ian's just throwing down. And it's fucking really cool. We have like the lights are off, the doors are open, the floodlights are on. It's just a really good vibe. It feels like it's a really good finish to a good trip so far. And this guy's biceps are freaking insane. I can't get over it.